Hello, K4. Are you enjoying learning about butterflies and caterpillars? I am. Yesterday we used this book and we learned some things about it. Let's finish this book today, okay? So, there are moths that look like butterflies. Sometimes moths look all brown, and sometimes we think that they're only brown, but sometimes moths can be very beautiful, just like butterflies. So let's learn a little bit about a moth. A moth looks like a butterfly, but it's not quite the same. The emperor moth has a smaller, narrower wings than a butterfly. See, his wings are smaller. These look like eyes, but they're really not. They're kind of scary, aren't they? But they're just pretty designs on his wings. Most moths fly at night when there are not so many enemies around. This is a Madagascan moon moth. Kind of looks like a kite with long tail, doesn't it? Moths have fat, furry bodies that keep them warm on cold nights. See this white one? And they have feathery feelers, antlers. Butterflies are long and thin. Moths have feelers on them. They're wide and feathery, kind of. Now, this is under a microscope. So when we look at a moth, we're not going to see them look that big. But they help them feel things in the dark. Butterflies and moths feed on juices from flowers or fruit. Instead of a mouth, they have a long, thin tube called a proboscis. They drink through it like a straw. Look at how long that is. This is their feeler. This is a butterfly, so it's thin, the little ball at the end. And this is their long tongue tube that they put in the flower, and they drink the juice out of it. Then their proboscis, that tube that they drink out of, curls up. Now they put this again under a big microscope to make it look really big. But when we look at a butterfly, we'll never see all of that because it's really small. So they curl it up when they're not using it, and then they uncurl it and stick it into their flower when they drink. But sometimes when they're very thirsty, they suck up drops of water that are on the ground. So sometimes if you see butterflies in the grass or the ground, they might be taking a drink. Lots of animals like to eat butterflies. Some butterflies have patterns that help them hide. Sometimes we call this camouflage. This is a butterfly. There's its feelers. Isn't that amazing? If this leafy butterfly keeps still, enemies are going to think that it's a leaf. This hair streak butterfly is easy to see when it flies. Its wings are green underneath, so when it lands, it can hide. See it now? This is what it looks like when it flies, and this is what it looks like when it lands, so it can be safe. This orange-tipped butterfly looks like the flowers it feeds on. Some butterflies are poisonous, so they don't need to hide from enemies. Bright markings on this swallowtail butterfly warn animals that they taste bad, so they don't have to worry about their enemies. These butterflies both look poisonous to animals, but the one on the left is harmless. It copies the poisonous butterfly's patterns. They look just the same, so animals are going to leave them alone. They're not going to know, is this a good one or the bad one? So they don't touch those butterflies. And this moth has a fat body and small wings. Enemies think that it's a bee, and they leave it alone. Looks just like a fancy bee, doesn't it? Butterflies and moths come in all sizes and shapes. Atlas moths are the biggest moths in the world. Each of their wings, so one wing would fill up this whole page. That's big. The smallest butterfly is called a pygmy blue, and it's really the size of this one on this page. That is really small. We probably think it was a little bug flying. This is a zebra swallowtail butterfly. Many swallowtails have long wings that make them look bigger. This helps to protect them from the enemies. Birds often snap at a butterfly's dangling tails instead of at its body. The butterfly has a chance to escape. Losing a bit of its wing doesn't hurt, so it can still fly. Well, that was interesting. We learned lots more about butterflies. Shall we read a silly book? Pete the Cat. We like Pete the Cat and the Cool Caterpillar by James Dean. Okay, Mrs. Gardner, where's first page? Oh, there's a picture. Looks like the cover, doesn't it? Pete is on a bug safari. That means he's out hunting for bugs. He and his friends are looking for bugs. How many bugs can they find? Look, they have their magnifying glasses to help them see. They've got nets to catch them. The monkey looks like he's just going out to eat. Callie spots a tiny black ant. It's building an anthill, she says. Groovy, says Pete. See, if they look through this, the ant looks much bigger. Gus finds a round red ladybug in a mint patch. It has 9 spots, says Gus. Nice, says Pete. Marty sees a big black spider. It's caught a fly, he says. Neat, says Pete. Ooh, look at that big spider. Oh, there's the bug. Pete finds a green caterpillar in a flower pot. I'm going to bring it home to show Mom and Dad, he says. Mom helps Pete build a home for the caterpillar. They use a big jar. Dad puts lots of holes in the lid so that it can get air, and Pete puts the caterpillar in the jar. Pete puts some leaves in the jar for the caterpillar to eat because they like to eat. He adds a twig, a branch for it to crawl on. Good night, Pete, says Mom. Good night, Pete, says Dad. Good night, caterpillar, says Pete. When Pete wakes up, the caterpillar is gone. Where did it go? Did it run away? It's not gone, said Mom. It did not run away, says Dad. Look, they say. What did it do? It made its chrysalis. The caterpillar is inside there, says Mom. It's called a pupa, or a chrysalis, or a cocoon. Will it stay there forever? Pete asks. No, says Dad. The caterpillar is changing into something new. What will it become? Pete asked. It's a surprise, says Mom. You must wait and see. Pete waits. Callie comes to visit. Did it come out yet? She asks. Not yet, says Pete. Pete waits some more. Gus comes to visit. Did it come out yet? He asks. Not yet, says Pete. Pete waits even longer. Marty comes to visit. Does Marty always have a banana when he comes? Did it come out yet? He asks. Not yet, says Pete. Pete waits and waits and waits. And then one day, something finally happens. Looks like it's moving. The pupa starts to wiggle. Something is happening, says Pete. It wiggles some more. Everyone comes over to watch. The pupa cracks open. Something is coming out. What can it be? A head pokes out, and then some legs, and then two colorful wings. The caterpillar has changed into a beautiful butterfly. Wow, says Pete. The butterfly slowly moves its wings up and down. It is ready to fly. Take the jar to the park. Time to say goodbye, says Dad. Pete opens the lid of his jar. The butterfly flaps its wings. It flutters out of the jar and it lands on Pete's nose. That tickles, he says. Then the butterfly flies into the sky. Bye-bye, butterfly, everyone says. Let's find a new caterpillar, said Pete. Changing is pretty cool. Remember what that's called? Metamorphosis. Isn't that a fun word to say? I hope you have a great day. I can't wait till we can start seeing butterflies, and we'll probably see caterpillars pretty soon. Then we'll see butterflies flying around. Have a great day. I love you. I miss you. See you later, alligator.